If you've ever
It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes. It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. He's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul. But yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. For ritual purposes only.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. A subscriber by the name of Steph over on the website shared this with me. You might remember I covered, even though to most people this is pretty irrelevant, but it's just another thing out in the open where you see that these people are really Satanists. They're witches, they're doing rituals, and the majority of people in our society continue to turn a blind eye to this. And before you know it, it'll be too late. But you might remember I covered Machine Gun Kelly, you know, the real masculine Machine Gun Kelly, paints his nails, weighs less than a string bean, marrying Megan Fox, who I'm sure is well hung, if you catch my drift. And they did a blood ritual for their engagement. And I covered that back in January or February on one of my channels, which is now gone because it's so controversial to talk about what these people are doing out in the open and then explaining what they're actually doing. And of course, for that, you get your channels deleted, you get strikes. Megan Fox clarified, though, recently that him and Machine Gun Kelly consume each other's blood for rituals. That's right. Quote, for ritual purposes only. Now, would this be enough to wake somebody up to the fact that we live amongst Satanists and witches, or do they still want to think it's make-believe when they openly tell you that they're drinking one another's blood for ritual purposes? Now, I'm well aware of how the stupid zombie thinks this day and age. They think everything's a joke. And they think that celebrities are kooky and wacky, and they do something to show just how much they love one another, like drinking one another's blood. When they tell you it's for ritual purposes, they still ignore it. Black magic, the occult, is as real as it gets. But in this world, you see, people believe in things that don't actually exist, sciences that aren't actually real. And then when it comes to things like magic, Satanists, the occult, they think all that stuff is make-believe because we live in an inverted society. Aleister Crowler's teaching about doing everything in reverse, the law of reversals. It lives in today's world because pretty much every single thing you see and hear, you should believe the opposite. So let's look at what Megan Kelly says here, because it's still not going to be enough to wake up imbeciles out there. They're still going to think that this is just some strange relationship because, well, they look at him, her, whatever, Machine Gun Kelly, and they see a very feminine male. So they think, well, they're just strange people in general. I mean, he's the size of a pencil, and he's painting his nails, and he's pretending to be tough and gangster, whatever the term is. And, you know, the guy couldn't be more frail. So people think stuff like this is a joke. So in her engagement announcement on Instagram back in January, the actress caught some fans by surprise when she shared that the romantic milestone included a moment that when they said, I said yes, she says, and then we drank each other's blood. When asked to clarify what she meant, the cover star of British Glamour's April 22 issue explained, so I guess to drink each other's blood might mislead people, or people are imagining us with goblets and we're like Game of Thrones, drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. Well, Megan, I wasn't thinking that it was like Game of Thrones, but your followers and fans and the zombies that worship you and idolize you like the false idol you are, of course that's what they think, that it's some type of joke. But I see a Satanist and a witch, or whatever you want to call yourselves, the damned, performing rituals in plain sight to indoctrinate the masses. But Megan Kelly sees it, Megan Fox sees it. I can't keep up with the names of these things. They all have like similar fake names. But Megan Fox sees it and she says, I read tarot cards and I'm into astrology and I'm doing all these metaphysical practices and meditations. And I do rituals on new moons and full moons and all these things. And so when I do it, it's a passage or it is used for a reason. And it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. Nothing strange here, ladies and gentlemen. 100 years ago, if somebody was saying this out in the open or seen doing this, they wouldn't make it through the night. Because people were aware of witches and Satanists and who they were and what they did, and the other rituals that they perform, which they pretend they don't, that involve children and animals, which is the reason that they were run out of places. Well, not really run out of places. We know what was done at the stake to most of these witches and Satanists. There is a reason for it, not just because they look like freaks, they smell like freaks, that they're an embarrassment to society, embarrassment to the human race, but because of the harm they were causing others. But now, in an inverted 2022 world, this stuff is looked at as cool because people have given up their brains to their brains turned into zombies and worship these socially engineering freaks like Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly and all the people, the Kardashians, people who are telling them to eat their placentas and do vampire facials, and they still don't see that all these celebrities are doing is indoctrinating them with satanic occult rituals. 100 years ago, like I said, wouldn't have happened. Now, not only is it happening out in the open, but people are following and doing it, and unknowingly, because they're so dumb, they think that this stuff is just quirky, new age meditation type crap, because they put new words and lingo around it to make it sound like it's some type of healthy spiritual thing. So you have Christians performing things like this, because that's how dumb Christians have gotten and how lukewarm they are. When the Bible talks about lukewarm Christians, this is what it's talking about, because there's many Christians that are like, oh, I saw the vampire face. I'm trying that too. Yeah. Or I'm going to try yoga and meditation, even though Aleister Crowley taught that stuff, because it's everyone's doing it. I'm going to try goat yoga. I don't see the signs and anything connected to the occult here. It's normal to put a goat on my crotch and do yoga. Huh? Unbelievable. Should I reread that? We talk about tarot cards and astrology. Constantly, I talk about astrology and the occult, but people don't want to hear it. They're like, but I like to read the newspaper because it tells me some bull crap because I was born in a certain month, so I know what to expect in 3 months. Like, for example, my astrology thing told me that I'm going to come and prosper in 3 months' time, and I found a quarter in my sofa, so I made 25 cents, so I prospered, and it was telling me, what's going on? Really? Goodness gracious, put your faith in God alone. But they don't. They look for stupid things, astrology. And I shouldn't say stupid things. I should say occult things. These are occult practices. Astrology is. And I'm not saying looking at the star from your house makes you, or whatever you're doing with your telescope. I'm talking about, people who are into all this other crap, like, I'm a Capricorn and or all these people who are like, I do tarot cards. I go to the psychic up the road, even though the Bible talks against, seeing practitioners, mediums, any of those types of things. No, they still go and do it. Psychics, whatever they call themselves, that just make crap up and get paid to do it. These people believe what they say. I mean, it's incredible. But anyway, back to Megan Fox here, who says that she does these things, and she says she does rituals on new moons and full moons. Wow, who does rituals on new moons and full? Oh, right, witches. Witches do. Because regular people do that, right? We all do rituals on new moons and full. No, so she's admitting that she's a witch. I mean, I would hope people could read between the lines that she's drinking her boyfriend or husband's blood or girlfriend's blood, drinking it for ritual purposes only. What do people think that means? Oh, Megan Kelly has some rituals in her house. This is just something they're accustomed to doing because they want to show how much they love one another. No, this would be occult satanic rituals that they're practicing. Black magic. But people want to believe that it's not real. Right. And there's certain books that you can read that are taught in certain buildings that people in those buildings love bagels teach just about the same thing in those books. Kabbalah. Anyway, she added that fiance, Machine Gun Kelly, a.k.a. Colson Baker, is much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul. Oh, he's such a bad boy. Guy would blow off a cliff in the wind. Oh, take my soul. What? People, and then, when they say lines like that, this is what makes the zombies think that they're just artists and weird people. They're freaks. Satanists are freaks because they're not human. They're possessed. When I asked if the scenario actually happens, Fox answered with a laugh, it doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened many times. So a version where Machine Gun Kelly's just cutting himself open. So should we call somebody and say Machine Gun Kelly's suicidal? He's just cutting himself? Right? Shouldn't we have like Twitter and all these people be in an uproar and be like, he's cutting himself, he's causing harm to himself, and then his followers are following it? No, of course they won't, because they love this type of crap. So he's just cutting himself randomly, and people think that this is a normal person that doesn't have problems. He's cutting himself saying, take my soul. And she's saying, well, it doesn't happen exactly like that, but it has happened many times. Oh, okay, that sounds super normal. Oh, man. She says, I'm also 4 years older than him, so I think I made him. My thoughts and intentions grew him into the person that he is. Who knows what he would have looked like or been like if it wasn't for me. Well, maybe he would have actually looked like a normal human being. Maybe he would have eaten a meal or two. But no, the freaks continue to indoctrinate the zombies.